So welcome to Sustainable News. And what are the headlines? Now, we spoke last week with Anouj Mehta of the ACGF, and that is a department of the Asian Development Bank. We had over the past weeks as well the IPCC report. Not going into that too much. We all know what's in there. The impacts of global warming of a 1.5 degree Celsius increase, and all this obviously to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change. We also have an article about the founder of Extinction Rebellion, Dr. Grail Bradbrook. She is driving a diesel car. Yes, who would have thought? And we have over 15 million women in Afghanistan put straight back into the Middle Ages. So uplifting stuff. Here we go. So we spoke with Anouj Mehta of the Asian Catalytic Green Finance Facility, that's ACGF. This is a Southeast Asia department of the Asian Development Bank, that's the ADB. What they do is they help Southeast Asian governments prepare and finance infrastructure projects while promoting environmental sustainability and contributing to climate change goals. The article in question was from the World Economic Forum, the WEF, titled How SDG Bonds Can Accelerate a Green Recovery. Now, these SDG bonds are bonds with socio-economic targets targeting specifically one or more of the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, first of all, I asked him about the perceptions about Southeast Asia being risky markets to invest in, and also about success of the sustainable bond raised in Thailand last year and why that success is so important.
If the flows of finance are not flowing, then there must be something about the perception that's driving the market. So you can never dismiss somebody's perception of risk and say it's not real. It must be somewhat real, the perception at least. So clearly, there is an issue of perception. Now, is it because the underlying bond issuers are considered risky, or because there simply isn't enough of a supply of the right numbers of bonds that investors can put their money into and the right structures? Why is it so important? Because it was the first sustainability bond by a government after COVID, the pandemic hit. A framework was developed, a sustainability bond framework, which ensured the use of proceeds. So in that sense, it's created a model that a government can go and raise funds, that there are funds available in the market if the bond is well structured and there are good underlying projects.
Okay, before the pandemic hit, national governments made some really strong commitments to the Paris Agreement, to the UN SDGs. However, all of that has been put on hold, not just in Southeast Asia, everywhere. So I asked Anouj about the SDG Accelerator bonds, in short, that is SAB. How do they work? How do they make a difference, and how are they guaranteed? You can find the full interview on our podcast. I'll put a link below.
So what we've tried to do is create in this sustainable SDG Accelerator Bond or SAB concept, is we've tried to create a template structure for government agencies, such as a state-owned enterprise or a local government agency, to follow with the assurance that if you create a structure like this, it is likely to be able to get you the funds that you need at a competitive price. And so what have we tried to do in the structure of this bond? We've tried to combine different elements. So, on one side, we've said that if you create a bond with a clear use of funds, being a specific SDG, climate, which is a nice cross-cutting theme for SDGs, then immediately the interest in financing that or raising money for that will be higher. Mm-hmm. So number one, we've tried to say that there'll be different frameworks and indicators that you should use as an SOE or as a local government, which is clearly focused on SDG targets. That's number one. So we've tried to focus on that. Mm-hmm. Number two is the financial mechanics. So we've said a little bit of give assurance to the investor community and get something in return. That's the underlying principle of the bond structure. So the assurance to an investor is for the initial years, an exit is guaranteed.
So the IPCC report, the impacts of global warming of 1.5 degrees Celsius. This report is empowering governments to act armed with the best possible knowledge. Unicef, which is a UN, United Nations agency, says that a billion children are at extreme risk from climate impacts. And we are talking heat waves like this one here, where coffins are exploding in Sicily. We're talking floods, wildfires like the Mediterranean wildfires, cyclones, disease, drought, and air pollution. Now, the UN agency's heads, they called the situation unimaginably dire. What they did is they combine high resolution maps of climate and environmental impacts with maps of child vulnerability. So, such as poverty, access to clean water, healthcare, and education. So, September 24th, there will be a global climate strike to demand intersectional climate justice. All right, talking about climate strikes, the founder of Extinction Rebellion, and that's Dr. Gail Brett Brooke, she admitted that she drives a diesel car. Her reasoning is she cannot afford an electric vehicle. What she could afford, however, 5 years ago, is fly 11,000 miles to Costa Rica for a holiday. Now, personally, I don't really give a monkeys. If she's going to a sustainable destination, good for her. But you have to remember, these are the people that say, first of all, Earth will perish by 2030. They attack airports. They sit on airplanes. Now, if you do that, if you feel that strongly about these things, then you should not fly 11,000 miles for a holiday. And most certainly, you should not be driving a diesel car, which is extremely harmful to the environment. So what an enormous hypocrite. And, also really damaging to the cause and really like a kick in the ass for anyone who actually cares about the environment and thinks, maybe we should be a little bit more responsible. Maybe she should do that herself. Okay, another round from my side, this time about Afghanistan. Taliban has seized power in Afghanistan, we all know that. And the Taliban official line is, we do not want women to be victimized. However, in reality, we have horrible images, horrible stories, newspaper headlines. So we have former President Donald Trump. He said this is the greatest foreign policy humiliation in US history. And Tony Blair branded Joe Biden an imbecile over his decision to quit Afghanistan. And I quote, "The decision was driven not by grand strategy, but by politics, an imbecilic political slogan about ending the forever wars." So a massive global backlash for Joe Biden over his handling of the crisis. And these pictures right here, they will haunt him. And this means he already lost the next election. And that is really, really sad, because what that means for any climate deal done by the Biden administration, it's going to be pushed back 180 degrees by the next president, as done by Donald Trump previously. And who wants to do a deal that will be obsolete in 3 years' time? I wouldn't. So it is really, really sad, not only for the over 15 million women and children in Afghanistan, but also for planet Earth.